my whole goal in everything I do is uniting us.
Mm-hmm.
I just think anything that divides us, that's my litmus test. Does it
Yeah.
divide us as a nation? Does it unite us as a nation? That's history that was there.
Mm-hmm.
It's still close to home. I think what the book has done is touched a nerve for people that are like me.
Mm-hmm.
It's such an interesting time to be alive and be a writer right now. You know, we're somewhat of a sanitized version of history, I think. I got really interested in the stories of the USCT. To be an African American, especially coming out of bondage, I like writing about watershed moments.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What in the world do you do when you've come out into a whole new world and now you're a soldier, which is another huge change? Well, man, that for a guy like me, that's a story.
Oh, yeah.
The stories from Fort Negley dovetailed right into the book Freedom Spring.
I mean, what a catch. You're doing it on the African-American troops. You know, Fort Negley was built by them, and they served there. And
it really was. And a lot of people don't know this. You know, I work in Nashville. There's a lot of newcomers to Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things I like to do or tell people is that you've got to know where you live. You have to know the place. The side closest to Nashville, that northwest side, if you were an African-American in bondage and you were escaping the South, where do you run to? Well, you run to Fort Negley.
Fort Negley.
The guns of Fort Negley, that was the largest fortification out west in the Civil War. That's where you're safe. You want to hide behind the big guns.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
they built it. Their labor, they're still buried there. The passion that the African-American community and the community in Nashville and the Civil War Roundtable, and there are so many people that are engaged in rebuilding that history on that spot. To dovetail my book into that was incredibly lucky.
Oh, that's fantastic. You know, and you're right. Everybody needs a sense of place, you know, and we all need that. And Nashville, you know, those of us that are Nashvillians, we have that, but people coming in, that is so important to do. And you picking up on that and getting halfway through the book and you're at Fort Negley and all the African-American presence there that was there for 100 years afterward, you know.
Right.
It's pretty amazing how it comes together. And as you well know, you know, the 13th USCT fought in Nashville.
Right.
So there certainly is a presence here for them, and this book is great for that, you know.
Well, and I hope that my books encourage people around Nashville and Central Tennessee, and this touches Mobile, and it touches descendants of soldiers from Indiana and Ohio. The West is, in the Civil Wars, I won't say it's not been written. There's been a million Civil War books, but I'm hoping that the schools will get this, that people will buy these and donate it to libraries and schools. That's really my hope. The kids will get to read this.
Mm-hmm.
They'll learn that real people at young ages made a difference in history. Your story doesn't have to involve magic, and that's not how the world works.
Yeah.
Regular people can impact and have an impact and be impacted by history. How they deal with it, that's where character comes in.
Mm-hmm.
I like to write about people of character.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And I think that comes through in my work.
I think that's great, Kurt. And if someone wanted to buy them, do you have them available through Amazon or through your website? Or
yeah, you can certainly get both Freedom Spring and Confederate Winter on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And I encourage people, I'd have Freedom Spring in an Audible edition. It's on audible.com.
Cool, really? Yeah.
So for people that drive all the time or have a long commute in Nashville traffic these days,
Nashville traffic, yeah.
Freedom Spring is a good one to download.
Yeah.
But my preference is that you go to Fort Negley and buy the book, because that gives some profit to them. Or go to the Lutz House, or go to Landmark Books in Franklin, you know, that's a small bookstore, privately owned. Go to the Carnton or the Carter House.
You know, that's great, and that's a great way to think about it, you know, and especially doing something local. Go to Fort Negley, go to the Franklin battlefield, and these books really come alive when you do that. So that's really a great thing to do, and I appreciate that very much, because this kind of thing it's good, and it's a great way to introduce people to history, especially if they go there and buy the book there, and they're helping support the history of that place, you know, so it's great.
Absolutely.